So before we get started, I've got my last survey question. So if you haven't voted yet, vote, join in. This is also my favourite question I'm going to ask this evening, which is, do you think you're a catch? So vote yes or no. Do you think you're a catch? I'm hoping I'm going to get 100% yeses to this one, but we will see. Okay, so here are my 10 quick hacks to build your dating confidence. My first hack is, if you're unsure what the right decision to make is, you can think, what would Beyonce or Brad Pitt do? I'm being serious. I want you to think of someone who you think is super attractive, really successful, and that has queues of people lining up to date them. And I want you to get into that mindset. So if you're not sure how to respond or how to react to something, go into that high confidence mindset of, what would Beyonce do? My second hack is, which I've mentioned earlier, is an ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. So I want you to start to think about any small practical steps that you can start to take, maybe even later tonight, towards your dating life. Could it be that you go to a match speed dating event, you do a music quiz, you go in the chat room, you send a message to someone, you smile at someone in a bar, you take up a new hobby, anything that helps to get you doing things and taking action towards your dating goals is going to be really positive. The third thing, which will link to our survey question, my third hack, is I want you to remind yourself every day of why you're a catch. You can say this Rocky style to yourself in the mirror in the morning, or perhaps you want to make a big note on your fridge. If you can't think of qualities that make you a catch, ask friends and family members. They will be able to tell you what makes you so awesome. And I want you to create a daily reminder for yourself about how you can do that. My fourth hack, and again, this is a bit of a Love Island-ism, but I'm back here with it, is to say to back yourself. This means try and get out of the mindset of not making a move on someone because you think they are out of your league. Instead, I want you to back yourself to approach the people that you really feel that you're attracted to and are excited to date. Because again, it's not about getting a yes or no from this person. It's about the message you send to yourself about what your dating life is all about. Equally, as much as I want you to back yourself, I also, hack 5, want you to get more comfortable with saying no. A lot of the time it can feel difficult because we don't want to disappoint people, but people prefer clarity, and a polite no is much better received than you just kind of drifting out of contact. It also is a very good thing to do for your self-esteem, because the message it sends to you when we're okay to turn things down is that you believe that there's better opportunities that are to come in the future. So it's okay to say no, and it's okay to walk away. Hack number 6 is to try and talk about things you love on your date. So going right back to the start of this coaching session, remember that how you can come up with endless conversation and how you can also enjoy those conversations more is to just start to think less about what can I say to impress this person, and more about what do I love to talk about. Hack 7, which is really similar to that, is to go on dates that you will really enjoy anyway. So remember, even if for whatever reason that you're not attracted to the date, there is no spark between you, try and think of how you could enjoy that date anyway. As I said, is it that you drag someone to a boxing class? Is it you check out a cool new juice bar that you've always wanted to see? You go for a nice relaxing walk and get some of your 10,000 steps in for the day. Think about how you can confidently suggest dates that you will really enjoy going on. Hack 8 is to read the writing on the wall and take the hint. If someone isn't as invested in the dating process as you are, to feel comfortable to let it go. So if someone isn't being very responsive on their messages, or they're being very aloof about the possibility of meeting, again, I really want you to think about what your standards should be for the person you date. If you are comfortable enough that you can recognise, okay, this person can't really give me what I want, so that's okay. I'm okay with that. I recognise it. I can let it go. I don't need to cling on to that dating experience, because again, I believe I can get something more and better in my future. It's all about that message that you're sending to yourself about what your expectations for dating should be. Hack 9 is to just keep reminding yourself that if a dating interaction doesn't work out for whatever reason, that doesn't actually mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means there's not a match there. So instead of dating being this process of you trying to please someone, it becomes much more of a two-way street, which neatly leads me on to my 10th hack, which is to always remember dating isn't about how do I get them to like me, it's about do I like them? Are we compatible? So again, bringing it back to a place where you're not focused on people pleasing, you're focused on expressing yourself and finding the best matches for you. So I hope those 10 hacks were helpful. And I've just seen that the survey results have come in. It's not quite 100%, but it's very close. 90% of you think you're a catch. Well, that's actually made my evening. I am happy for you. And yes, you are indeed. So before we get on to our last section of questions that have been sent in advance, let's just do a quick recap. Remember, your mindset around dating should always be, do I like them rather than will they like me? So we're shifting that focus away from worrying if they're going to accept or reject you and back towards how compatible you feel they are with you. If in doubt about what to do, think what would Beyonce do, or Brad Pitt, or insert other handsome or beautiful or exciting person in there. Final point here is remember that you are a catch. Yes, you absolutely are. And if you need any reminders of that, put it on your fridge, write it on your mirror, tell it to yourself in the morning, put an alarm on your phone. I want you to be entering dating positively, reminding yourself about all of the amazing things you bring to the table. So we're shortly going to go into our live Q&A, but before then, I wanted just to I just want to answer these questions that someone has sent in advance. The first is from Christopher, who asks, how do you help women overcome their fear of strange danger? So I think, Christopher, what you want to know is when you want to approach a woman or say hello to her, how do you allow her to trust you rather than thinking, who's this guy? And again, this goes back to some of the skills we were speaking about earlier. A lot of this comes down to actually making statements about yourself and being open and leading the conversation as opposed to asking a lot of questions. If a woman is approached by, or in fact, if anyone's approached by someone they don't know and they get bombarded with questions, they can start to think like, well, why do they want to know? Like, who is this person? So instead, you want to shift your point of focus in the conversation around and make it much less about asking the other person questions, and instead provide them with the information they need to trust you. What will help them to trust you? It would help them to know why you're in that place, kind of roughly what you do, or maybe where you live. So it doesn't sound very exciting to say something like, I actually work over in X and I live in Y, so I thought I'd pop here on my way home to pick up some groceries. Doesn't sound very exciting, but what it actually does is it gives a lot of information to the other person and allows them to understand, okay, this is like a normal person who, works around here, who, lives over there, who's kind of going about their life and doing these things. And this information really allows them to build trust with you. So remember, before we go into flirting or anything like that, the first thing you've really got to establish in those early interactions is building trust. The next question comes from Denise, who asks, how to attract a committed man. Now, Denise, again, I sense there's a slight mindset there that people may not want the same level of commitment as you do. So remember, start with that positive belief that we've spoken about, I've gone on and on about, to be honest, during this session, which is to believe that so many people out there are going to want the same level of commitment as you. In terms of practical action steps, all I would say is this: it is very hard. It's very hard to judge who's going to be a match for you from those first couple of dates. Often that's someone's red carpet spokesperson you get to meet, and it might not always be the best indicator of compatibility. So rather than listening to someone's words, really observe their actions. And if you really want commitment, just slow down the process of getting to know someone so you can really take your time figuring out if someone's on the same page as you are. So our last question that was sent in advance, so thank you for this, was from Arcturus, who asks how to find the right one. Well, I hope the good news here is I actually think there's more than one, which is great. So your odds have just improved. Really, again, instead of thinking of it about finding this one mystical right person, I really want you to look at dating that it is about becoming the one. It's about becoming the person who is confident enough, clear enough about what their standards are, who's a good enough communicator, who's able to overcome those little fears and inhibitions and be proactive in their dating life. If you can become this person and interact with dating that confidently, then you're going to find there's actually lots of great people out there who are able to give you the relationship you want. Anyway, I've really enjoyed this live coaching session so far, but I believe we still have some time for some live questions.